So, being, over time, I think we even had this discussion earlier on when there was this talk of the introduction of the pill for as a contraceptive method for men. And a lot of men came out and said, no, it's going to affect us. We're going to have mood swings. And all the ladies are looking at them like, but
Sir,
this is what we have been going through.
for
The
millennia.
whole burden, the whole hormonal imbalance. Let me tell you, sometimes contraceptive, it depends on whatever you're taking, but some of them have very adverse effects, from puking, from acne, from flare-ups, from people even have hives sometimes. So to see a man talking about how he would consider having a vasectomy so that his wife doesn't have to go through all this, and I was like, hey man, hallelujah. And some of the guys are like, okay, then why don't we just use condoms? And I'm like, condoms don't work for everybody, especially look at her.
I did not do anything.
Condoms just don't work for everybody, especially if you've been in a relationship with
For
the
a
same
long
person
time.
for a long time. There's no way we're just going to switch up and be like, okay, babe, the pills are not working for me. It's time for us to start using condoms. True story, it feels very foreign because I went through a thing where I had very bad hormonal imbalance and I just had to we need to stop taking the pill and we need to try something else. And I was now considering things like having an IUD and everything. And then in the meantime, we're like, okay, let's use condoms. Let me tell you, that 1 month was the worst month of my sexual history because it felt so different. It felt so... There was something missing.
It's the connection.
There was a barrier.
Yeah.
So, but that is just for couples who are in it together, not a stranger. If you're having sex with a stranger, please condomize, okay? We are going through very tough times. There was even a recent study talking about the high rate of HIV infection in teenagers in Kenya. And Kenya was around number 3 in the world. And you're thinking, wow, people need to go back to sex education. People need to start practicing safe sex. But I digress. We're coming back to being. So in a podcast, I'm guessing it's a podcast because that's what alpha males do these days. He said, I am willing to look into vasectomy. I am tired of putting this burden on our chicks. First of all, I know different contraceptives have different side effects. Dr. Rain, on the other hand, said, you do not have any say over a woman's body. If she has done her research and says, this is making me feel like, it's not this, then that's it. You don't have to argue again. And then he goes on to ask, is there a pill I can take? Can you take us through the process of a vasectomy? Which, let me tell you, a vasectomy is easy, you can have it, but African men have decided they will not have a vasectomy for nothing. I think they it's all about not having the right information. Sometimes when you mention a vasectomy, some people in our day and age imagine it's the process of cutting off his whole appendage. But it's not. It's just like a very minimally invasive surgery. You just cut off the tube, that's it. Cauterize it and that's it. No pain. You could be in for an appointment at 9, be out by 10 and at home by 11. And I think men should really embrace it because women are suffering out here. Women are really suffering out here. And if you could even argue, why don't you just have like an IUD? Have you not seen children come out holding that copper IUD?
Wow,
thing?
dramatic.
Have you not seen children come with it like stuck on the forehead,
So
looking
dramatic.
like Harry Potter?
So dramatic.
So can we have more men engaged in this conversation and more awareness of what a vasectomy is? Because I feel like all this, I don't want to do it, I would never do it, it's because of the lack of education. You're feeling like maybe you'll not be able to perform. Please, education. Tukwe tuna mass education about vasectomies. And maybe people's minds are going to be changed. And I look forward to that.
Honestly, I feel like this is one of those conversations which really needs to be had, not just with people around, but even with doctors.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I've heard of cases where, like a friend of mine was going through a consultation for a vasectomy for her partner. And once they got into the hospital, the doctor was like, okay, cool. So you've decided this is what you want to do? They're like, yeah, this is what we want to do. And then asked the man to step out of the room. And when the man stepped out of the room, he was left with the girl, and he asked her blatantly, like, are you being forced into this? And I'm like, huh? Am I being forced into him having a vasectomy? I feel like this is the conversation you should be having with him. Why are you asking me? I don't understand how it is me being imposed, yet it is his body which is being altered. And it really was one of those questions where he's like, is he forcing you to do it because he doesn't want to have children with you? Is he forcing you to do it because he doesn't want to, you know, to be in a long-term relationship? Are you guys dating or are you married? And I'm like, sir, this is your role in this is literally to do the procedure and advise us on how to manage the conditions if at all any will arise. But it is such a simple step. And sometimes, well, I don't think in Kenya we do have the reversible one. I think in Kenya we have the one way, like you can only, you're done and done, like it's never going to be reversed. But there are so many other things that can be done even with the vasectomy having been done. You can still have children with this particular man. It's very simple. You have, you know, an, what do you call it? They extract his seed, and it is put in your system, and you officially have children. I don't understand why people make it look like it's a death sentence. It's really not.
True.
It is absolutely entirely up to you to do whatever the hell you want to do with your body. But men always look at it from the perspective of something is being taken away from me. It is going to take away my masculinity. My libido is going to be low. But all of these are just myths, in the same way that women had to be cultured and taught the importance of contraception and having all of these things, foreign bodies being put in our bodies just so we do not conceive. And with the rate at which life is going, have you guys not known and heard that children, teenagers, we have the highest rates of pregnancy in our country? We were ranked the third in teenage pregnancies. Are you seriously trying to tell me that this is the fault of women? We need to start to make active measures to ensure that there is a balance. There is at least a balance, because we all will go through the same things. And for men, it's so much easier. Honestly, as she said, you walk in and you walk out same day. Same day. All is well in your world, and you no longer have to worry about, you know, children in your life if you don't want them. So, Bien, kudos to you. And anyone who's looking for education, the same way we keep telling you to go to gynecologists as women, even men should go to their doctors. I forget what they're called, but there's a male doctor for this particular. They're called endocrine, I don't know, something with along the lines of an endocrine system. So please go and consult your doctors, and you will get the right and viable information. However, let's stop making it look like it's a death sentence, because it ain't, okay? It's just not.